When we're talking about producing energy, the best way to do this is by the process of cellular respiration, breaking down glucose into smaller molecules that get used to make ATP. But before we talk about cellular respiration, we need to understand what oxidation and reduction reactions are. Oxidation and reductions are two reactions that happen simultaneously. They always occur together. So if you have something that gets oxidized, you automatically have something to be reduced. They have to occur together in pairs, and it involves transferring electrons from one molecule to another. So you need one cell that has some electrons that it's willing to donate, and then you need another, not a cell, a molecule, a chemical, a molecule. You need another molecule that has a space to accept that electron. So this is an electron acceptor. Oxidation and reduction happens when this gets transferred. An electron gets transferred from a donor to an acceptor. Now you can see the donor is missing that electron and the acceptor has it. When we talk about donors, this is the process of oxidation, losing an electron, transferring an electron from one molecule to another. This process is called oxidation. It's called oxidation because oxygen is really good at it. Oxygen is really good at donating electrons and accepting electrons. So we refer to this as oxidation. Anytime a molecule gets oxidized, we have to find the acceptor. There is another molecule that got reduced. When a molecule accepts an electron, we refer to that chemical reaction as a reduction, which kind of sounds funny because they accepted an electron. And when I accept something, when I gain something, I think of adding, not reducing. But what got reduced is the electrical charge, right? Electrons have a negative electrical charge, and so the overall charge of this molecule was reduced because it gained an electron which has a negative charge. So that's how you remember that. This happens a lot in biology. When we see this, it also happens a lot that the electron gets transferred with a hydrogen. So we can see that as we're talking about breaking down glucose and where do these hydrogens go. So we'll be able to follow that as we go along. All right, so oxidation and reduction occurs in pairs. Simultaneously, you always have to have a donor and an acceptor. It's kind of interesting, kind of hard to remember because reduction gains an electron. So I'm going to give you a little mnemonic to remember that. And this one is called oil rig. Oil rig, we live in Houston, so we're very good. We know what oil rigs are. But this is just a quick way to remember this. When you have something that gets oxidized, oxidation involves loss. Oxidation involves loss. That's the oil part of it. And if I go back to the PowerPoint, we see the oxidation portion of this lost an electron. Rig, what does RIG stand for? Reduction involves gain. So reduction involves gain. So that's your little mnemonic to help you remember that. I always need these as I'm going through. Reduction involves gain. Again, when we start moving things around and that electron starts being moved with its hydrogen, and we see a hydrogen showed up, it's kind of hard to remember that reduction is going to add an electron, possibly with its hydrogen. So that's something to help you get involved with that.